Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Okay, this is my take number 2. I'm just coming on here live on Facebook only. So my YouTube followers, I will be posting this later on as a replay video here in just a little bit. All right, so again, sorry if there was some technical difficulties on that. I'm at a kind of a secondary place here at my mom's. All right, so we just finished doing layouts for our 6 different looks for our book fold fun fold. So we did these 2 here. So let's go ahead and let's go on to our second one. Our second layout is for the book fold is where we did that one horizontally. On this fold, we're going to go more vertically up and down in the orientation. So let me get all of the goodies out for that one and tell you how we're doing, or the measurements for this. We're going to start out with a piece of balmy blue. All of these are doing balmy blue. I just love how that color looks with the designer paper pack. And this is our standard card base. That would be the 8.5 by 5.5. And on this one, we're going to score it at 3 and 4 1/4. And then again, here's what we're going to be making. And then with the Regency Park designer paper, we need 2 different pieces. We need one that's 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 and 1 by 5 1/4. So I have those. Need some layering pieces of basic white. This is going to be cut at 1 1/8 by 5 1/8, as well as 2 7/8 by 5 3/8, and then 1 for the inside that's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. See, we'll go ahead and get these going. So hopefully you got to see the first one there. Again, I'll have to go back afterwards and see where it played and where it didn't. Go ahead and give it a nice burnish there, or reinforce that score line there at the 4 1/4. And then we'll open up the second score line here, and we'll open that. Okay, let's do some layering on our designer paper and cardstock. So we'll take the 1 by 4 1/4 and layer that on our basic white. Get that down. And then take our larger piece of designer paper. And I have chosen to do all of the floral sides. Whoops, that one, I bet I have that cut. That was for the inside. Those are pretty close. There's only 1/8 of a difference between it. So make sure you grab the right one if you're cutting all at once. Put that on, and since that one has glue, I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside. So I can just kind of close where it's going to be closed and put that down. All right, so we'll get this on what's going to be what I'm going to call the book binding part of it. And we'll put that over here. And then we'll get the larger panel. And we'll put that on. For me, I tend to build my card base first, and then I do the stamping, especially when I know when that's going to. All right, look how wonky I got that when I glued. Yours will not be like that. And just like before, if you happen to catch the before, we're going to take some tear and tape. And this time, or before I did a center, and then I glued the rest of it, I'm going to show you how you can use tear and tape all the way there. But we are going to use the same basic white seam ribbon on everything tonight. And again, I'm going to get about 18 inches. Be very generous. It helps with the bows on it. Whoops. So I'd like to go ahead and get that down first. Get that down in the center, kind of anchor it. And then once that's down, then I can put the other 2 strips on it. Again, you could use the first one that I showed, and then my internet connection kind of went bye-bye. On that first video earlier, I showed using liquid glue on either side, and I just wanted to see that if you're tear and tape fans or show, that you can go ahead and use tear and tape for this section as well. All right. And we'll get that closed. And it's just nice with this book binding that it really hides any ribbons and trim that you want to wrap around on it. And then again, the earlier tip for especially the seam binding ribbon type of weight is go ahead and put a little glue dot where you want the bow to be. And then that's going to help act as a third hand to hold it down and in place. See where that's at. Find it. There we go. And now that won't, the slip knot won't rise up on you that way. That way it'll just hold it down while you make your cute little bow. And then I put my finger on it, kind of hold that into place while I pull the tails and get the size of the bow that I want. Okay, I'll get that off. So for this one, again, the Sentimental Park dies, you have 3 different shapes of the dies. So on this one, because we're doing more of a vertical look to it, we're going to do this. And I think that, you know, it's just going to be a little hard with stamping with some of these smaller ones since I forgot my block here. But what I did is I took the Night of Navy and inked that up first. And this is independent, this is just for, and then you can say you. So this is nice because you can mix and match all of these sentiments here. So for this one, I did just for you. Use the little kind of, like a little tweed print kind of look here, and did 3 or 4 stamping over here. And then I took some of the dies that came in this set and got those all nice and layered. Now I can go ahead and put this together for you. I'm gonna do this and do that, and I'll kind of show you this another cute thing that's in part of the suite, and that's the milky dot embellishments here. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to, this is just kind of layered down. Oops, I'll do this. So just kind of can build up our flower here. And I even grabbed the wrong size. It's got 2 sizes of these kind of the airy outlines. And so you can use the large or the small. Here I inadvertently grabbed the small one, but all that will do is just give it a layer to it. So that's kind of the difference between the 2 of those. And then here are these adhesive back milky dots. You've got this great kind of Night of Navy, but it's kind of more of a, I don't know, like a really shimmery looking blue on there. And then this gold, it's really not gold, but it's kind of gold. So it can go all with our yellows and orange tones as well. And then a nice neutral up here. And I'm gonna grab one of the kind of the yellow tones. Kind of gave a nod back to the centers of the flower here, and put that on there. And then this is our second card. And then on the inside, I used some of the other images from the stamp set. Since this paper was busy and had the cluster flowers on it, I picked up the cluster flower image from the stamp set just to coordinate the inside of the card here. All right, so that's this, basically this is the 3rd layout. And when you take that layout and turn it horizontally, now you have a fourth layout. So you can do it this way. So it's the same fold, the same measurements and everything. It's just the orientation that you turn to see what you like. All right, so that's our number 4. That's 4 ways of doing a book fold. And now our last way, which was one that I recently discovered, and I really like this. It's a gate fold book fold. Isn't that unique? I just really like how this fold goes. So maybe you've done the book folds in the past, and this one might be a new take on it. So let me show you how we can put this one together. All right, so again, we are sticking kind of with our theme of the night here of the class, which is balmy blue, night of navy, basic white, and then our Regency Park designer paper. So we'll start with a piece of balmy blue cardstock, and we're going to score it at 2 1/8, 3 1/4, and 8 7/8. So what's just like before, this section here, the one that's coming from left to right, this 1 1/4 inch section's going to become our book binding. That's where that's going to come. And then from the score from, if we're coming in from the right, that will close up like such. And I think I had my measurements just a little off, but we will go with this just so that you can kind of see how we would put this together. All right, so other measurements that we're going to need for this, we're going to have the Night of Navy cardstock, not nigh, but put a T there, Night of Navy, 1 1/8 by 4 1/8, and we're going to need 2 panels, layering panels of 2 by 4 1/8, and then for the inside, a piece of basic white cardstock, another 4 by 4. And then from the Regency Park Designer Series paper, we're going to need a 1 by 4. And then we're going to need, I didn't have the measurements down on this, but I believe this is 2 and, well, I'll have the measurements up here. I don't want to state it incorrectly. I know it's 4 inches long, and I believe it's like 2 3/8, but don't hold me to that. I'll have that on the final version here. Afterwards, I'll get all of the measurements up there. And just like before, we are going to get our designer paper layered over our Night of Navy cardstock. And I've got a big glop right in there. So I'm going to take this basic white right now, and I'm going to cover that up. So I'm going to put that in there. So I think I was off 1/4 inch over on this side. So I'll redo that later. And we'll go ahead and I'll get this down. Well, I wanted to make a point to make sure to share this with everybody. Okay, all of my measurements are real wonky. Let me just grab one of this and we'll kind of just talk through it. Alrighty, so we've got our book fold here, and then with the, and then just like before, we would go ahead and take our tear and tape, put the ribbon on it, add some additional adhesive, close it, tie the ribbon, add the front panels, and then this time what we're going to do is with this particular, what do I want to say? This is another label that's part of that set. Stamp the sentiment of let's celebrate. And because I wanted this to fit at the angle, you know, you can stamp let's celebrate straight on, but then give it a little jaunty tilt to what we're doing on it. Then these cute little flowers here are part of that die set. I die cut 3 of them out, and what's nice is that you don't have, like, you have 2 of those in the set, and so you can go ahead and get 2 of them or I should say one pass, and it die cuts 3 flowers out. So you would get all of these in one pass. And then when you open that up, you can add some other elements from the stamp set, whatever then would coordinate, because the Sentimental Park does coordinate with the Regency Park designer paper, so you can always find something in the stamp set that will coordinate back to it. So on this card, this would be number 5 layout, and then of course we're going to change it up and change it the other way. And then if we did it vertically, we could have this look. All right, so let's bring in all of the cards here, and I'll just share with you all of the looks that we have here tonight, to where we get our 6 cards. So we have layout number 1, but if you turn it another direction, you've got 2 different layouts, or 2 different looks with the same cutting and scoring measurements. So that's look number 1 and 2. And then on the second one, with this measurement look, we get this book fold. And if we turn the orientation, we get looks 3 and 4. And then lastly, with our gatefold look, we have this look of a gatefold book fold. And then turning the orientation, we have looks 5 and 6. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate it. And sorry for the little technical boo-boos, but as I said, I just really didn't want to miss our class here tonight. I wanted to keep on schedule, and I so appreciate everybody that tuned in and will tune in later on. And I will be looking through your comments all throughout all of the night. All right, thank you guys for watching, and have a great night. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.